Good morning, everyone. My name is Geraldine Garcia, and I'm here to continue to present the item 61 to 90. So, item 61 is in the context of outcome-based teaching learning, which are the basis of evaluation? A. Learning outcomes. B. Learning content. C. Instructional strategies. D. Learning resources. So the correct answer is letter A, learning outcomes. So why is it the correct answer? Why not letter B, C, or D? Learning outcomes is the correct answer. It's because evaluation, it is a center on assessing whether students have achieved the specific learning outcomes. So why not B, C, and D? It's because learning content, it is the evaluation focused on the outcomes students achieve from engaging with the content, not the content itself. And it is not letter C, which is the instructional strategies. It's because these are methods used to facilitate learning, but evaluation is based on a content itself. And not letter D, which is learning resources. It's because resources supports learning but do not serve as the basis for evaluation, which centered on the outcomes achieved. Next item. So the next item is on delivery modes, which comprise the curriculum process. What is applied when the assignment is to determine the extent of poverty in the Pasig Squatter area? A. Cooperative learning. B. Hands-on. C. Minds-on. Or letter D. Problem-based. So what do you think is the correct answer? The correct answer is letter D. So why letter D? It's because it doesn't necessarily involve addressing real world problems such as poverty assessment. So why not letter A, B, and C? Um, it's because letter A, the cooperative learning, it doesn't specifically focus on solving real-world problems like poverty assessment. And why not letter B, which is hands-on? It's because this methods emphasizes physical engagement with materials activities which may not be directly applicable to assess social issues like poverty. And why not? It's because it doesn't necessarily involve addressing real-world problems such as poverty assessment. Next. So letter D is the correct answer, which is problem-based. It's because this approach involves students working on real-world problems such as assessing poverty in assessing poverty in a specific area, fostering critical thinking and practical applications of knowledge. Next, item 63. Who among the following teachers below did not perform a formative assessment? A. Miss Sinako asked questions when the discussion was going on to know who among her students understand what she was trying to stress out. B. Teacher Sinongko, who administered a 10-item test to find out the specific lesson which the student failed to understand. C. Mr. Sidoko, who gave a short quiz after discussion thoroughly the lessons to determine the outcomes of his instruction. Or letter D. Prof. Prof. Sinusco, who administered a readiness test to the incoming freshman student. So what do you think is the correct answer? So the correct answer is letter D. Professor Sinosco, who administered a readiness test to the incoming freshman student. So the Why is it letter D is the correct answer? It's because a readiness test is typically a diagnostic tool used before instruction to assess students' prior knowledge, not a formative test assessment conducted during the learning process. So why is it the A, B, and C are not the correct answer? It's because letter A, asking questions during the discussions to guide understanding is a formative assessment technique. And why not letter B? It's because administering a test to identify specific lessons students did not understand is a formative assessment technique. And why not letter C? It's because giving a short quiz after a lesson to determine the outcome of instruction is a formative assessment practice. So the correct answer is letter D. Professor Sinasco, who administered a readiness test to the incoming freshman students. Next, which term from Vygotsky refers to a range of tasks that are too difficult for the child to master alone, but that can be learned with the guidance and adults of or more skilled children. A. Zone of proximal development. B. Symbolic function stage. C. Lifespan development. Or letter D. Scaffolding. So the correct answer is letter A. Zone of proximal development. So why is that zone proximal development is the correct answer? It's because this concept refers to tasks that learners can perform with assistance, help highlighting the potentials for cognitive development through guided interaction. So why not letter B, C, and D? So letter B is not the correct answer. It's because this is a stage in of cognitive development, not Vygotsky. And it is not also letter C, which is lifespan development. It's because this term refers to the study of human development across the entire lifespan, not a specific concept for Vygotsky. And not letter D is not the correct answer also. It's because scaffolding refers to the support provided during the learning process, not the range of tasks described in the question. Next. So the correct answer is zone of proximal development. Item 65. In teaching in teaching classification of concept into specific categories, what innovative and non-conventional technique can you use that also in a way preserves fulfilled cultural practice? A. The puzzle. B. The zoo. C. Trade. D. Bingo games. So the correct answer is letter D, bingo games. It's because bingo can be adapted to reach classification by using categories as part of the game, making learning engaging and culturally relevant. Why not letter A, puzzle, or letter B and C, the zoo and trade? It's because while puzzles are useful for classification, they may not be always incorporate cultural practices in a fun-filled manner. Why not letter B, the zoo? It's because this method involves categorizing animals, but it may not always align with cultural practices or be perceived as fulfilled. Why not letter C, which is trade? It's because this techniques involves grouping concepts into three categories, which may not always be innovative or culturally engaging. Next, in view of 21st century student-centered learning, what is the catalytic role of teachers as a classroom instructor? A. Mentor of low-performing learners. B. Facilitator of student learning. C. Presenter of information. Or letter D. Guardian of moral behavior. So what do you think is the correct answer? So the correct answer is letter B. Facilitator of student learning. Why is it the correct answer? It's because in student-centered learning, teachers guide and support students in their learning process rather than direct instruction. So why not letter A, C, and D? So A is not the correct answer. It's because while monitoring, it is very important. It doesn't encompass the broader rule of facilitating all student learning. So why not letter C, which is presenter of information? It's because this is more characteristic of teacher-centered approaches, where the teacher is the primary source of knowledge. Why not letter D, guardian of moral behavior? It's because while teachers play a role in modeling and guiding behavior, this is not their primary role in student-centered learning. Next, 67. Tyler's approach to curriculum development is deductive. What does deductive curriculum development mean? A. A curriculum planner decide on the curricular objectives and design the instructional strategies. B. Curriculum planners decide on the curricular objectives, but teachers design the instructional strategies. C. Curriculum planners decide on the curricular objectives, design the instructional strategies and evaluation activities. Or letter D. Teacher determine both the curriculum objectives and the instructional strategies. So what do you think is the correct answer? So the correct answer is letter C. Curriculum planners decide on the curricular objectives, design the instructional strategies, and evaluation activities. So why it is the correct answer? It's because Tyler's model is known as the deductive objective-based approach. It starts with identifying general objectives, followed by planning learning experiences and assessments aligned with this goal. So letter A is not the correct answer because it doesn't include evaluation activities. Letter B is not also the correct answer. It's because teachers don't design strategies in Tyler's model. Not and also not the letter D is because teachers don't determine objectives in a deductive model. Next. Number 68. Upon entering the test scores of students, it appears that they got very low and some are almost failing. Based on these results, which is wise decision? A. Let it be whatever is the result of the computation. B. Make necessary adjustments in the data to make the grades high. C. Give plus give give plus points and merit to the student based on certain criteria. D. Considered other aspects of students' development, such as skills, attitude towards studies, and willingness to learn them, assess them. So, what do you think is the correct answer? The correct answer is letter D. Considered other aspects of student development, such as skills, attitude towards studies, and willingness to learn them and assess them. So it is the correct answer. It's because a holistic approach is deal especially in formative assessment skills. Attitude and willingness are essential indicator of learning potential. So why not letter A, B, and C? It's not A is not the correct answer. It's because it is a passive and unproductive. Why not letter B? It's because it is ethically wrong and invalidates results. And why not letter C? It's because arbitrary and may introduce bias. Next, item 69. On observation experiences during field study, what is the significance of the intended aim in observing environment, learners, and teachers? A. Purpose. B. Focus. C. Intentionally. D. Process. So what do you think is the correct answer? So the correct answer is letter A. Purpose. It's because purpose it refers to the reason or aim of the observations guiding what to look for. So why not letter B, C, and D? It's because letter B, which is focus, It is secondary. It's directed by purpose. So why not letter C, which is intentionally? Intentionally is about doing it with intent, not the significance itself. Why not letter D? Process. Process, it relates to how it's done, not why. Next. 70. Which theory of human development focuses on the social context in which children live and people who influence their development? A. Vygotsky's zone of proximal development. B. Erickson's lifespan development theory. C. Bronfenbrenner's ecological theory. Or letter D. Piaget cognitive development theory. So what do you think is the correct answer? The correct answer is letter C. Bronfenbrenner's ecological theory. It's because this theory explains how a child's development is affected by different systems, microsystems, mesosystems, and etc. in their environment. C. It's because letter A, Vygotsky focuses on learning support, the ZPD, not whole social system. Why not letter B? Erickson's deal with psychological stages. And why not letter D, which is Piaget cognitive development theory? It's because Piaget focuses on cognitive stages, not environment. Next. Number 71. Teacher Jeanette, a math elementary teacher, the spiral progression approach in teaching math. Which does she do? A. She gives realistic math problems for students to solve. B. She tutors pupils weak in math separately. C. She builds on math concepts learned from the lower grades as she teaches more complex concepts in grade 6 math. Or letter D. She makes the grade 6 pupils master grade 6 math concept all at once. So the correct answer is letter C. She builds in math concept learned from the lower grades as she teaches more complex concept in grade 6 math. So why it is the correct answer? It's because the spiral progressions approach involves teaching concepts gradually and repeatedly over time, increasing in complexity. So why not letter A, B, and D? It's A is not the correct answer. It's because realistic problems are good but do not define spiral progression. So why not letter B? It's because letter B, it tutoring as a radial strategy, not spiral progression. Why not letter D? Mastering concept all at once contradicts the essence of spiral progression. Next. Item number 72. 72. Next. According to previous researches, teachers are indulged to unreasonable debts and loans that eventually reports to being drawn by payables later or over surrendering their ATM cards. Which financial factor is considered the least to affect this practice and its results? A. Emergency funds. B. Compensations and fringe benefits. C. Savings. Or letter D. Expenses. So the correct answer is letter letter B. Compensation and fringe benefits. So So the correct answer is letter A, emerge funds. So why it is the correct answer? While lack of emergency funds is a concern, compensation, savings, and expenses more directly and regularly affect financial stability. So why not B, C, and D are not the correct answer? It's because compensations and fresh benefits in inadequate compensations in a measure to dip. Why not savings? It's because savings it is not regularly it can not savings regularly can lead to dip. And expenses, high expenses can directly result in indebtedness. Next, item 73. Of the four ways of presenting the content in the curriculum, which approach puts topics in cluster of major and sub-concepts and interactions? A. Concept approach. B. Modular approach. C. Topical approach. Or letter D. Thematic approach. The correct answer is letter A. Concept approach. It's because this approach focuses on organizing knowledge around broad concepts with related subtopics. Why not letter B, C, and D? Mod- so it is not the correct answer. It's because modular approach focuses on independent units, and topical approach it presents topics linearly. And it's not letter D, which is thematic approach. It's because a thematic approach integrates subjects under one theme, not necessarily by concept hierarchy. Item 74. From the models of equitable learning, which strategy is most fundamental in the sense this brings all other strategies together? A. Active engagement by all learners. B. Various entry points of multiple intelligence. C. Questions focused on learning outcomes. D. Articulations by all on what and why do in class. So the correct answer is letter A. Active engagement by all learners. So it is the correct answer. It's because active engagement it is the foundation. It underpins other strategies. Why not letter B, C, and D? It's not letter B is not the correct answer. It's because multiple intelligence matter, but engagement is more foundation. It is not also letter C. It's because questioning help assess learning, not ensure engagement. And it is not letter D, it's because articulation is reflective, not foundational. Item 75. Which philosophy of education is John Dewey known for? A. Idealism. B. Essentialism. C. Progressivism. Or letter D. Constructionism. The correct answer is letter C. Progressivism. So why progressivism? Because John Dewey is best known for progressivism, a philosophy emphasizing learning by doing, critical thinking, and problem solving in real world context. Why not letter A, which is idealism? It's because idealism associated with more with Plato, this philosophy emphasizes the role of ideas, the mind, the internal truths. Why not essentialism? Essentialism linked with thinkers like Jean-Paul Sartre. This philosophy emphasizes individual choice and meaning. Why not letter D, which is reconstructionism? Reconstructionism Reconstructionism, this relate to George Kant and Theodore Brumel, focusing on reforming society through education. Item 76. What should all teachers and students of the 21st century strive to become? A. Digital blogger. B. Digital immigrants. C. Digital natives. Or letter D. Digital citizens. So what do you think is the correct answer? The correct answer is letter D, digital citizen. It's because it emphasizes responsible, ethical use of technology. Why not letter A, B, and C? Letter A, digital bloggers is not the correct answer. It's because bloggers are just one aspect. Letter B, digital immigrants is not also the correct answer. It's because digital immigrants are those adapting to technology, not an aspiration. And it is not letter C, which is the digital natives. It's because digital natives are born into tech, not something to strive for. Item 77. What may be included as motor behavior reactions in child's development? A. Thinking, perceiving, feeling. B. Reading, writing, and drawing. C. Concentrating, focusing, centering. D. Sitting, listening, or singing. So the correct answer is letter D. Sitting, listening, singing. It's because this involves motor control and physical coordination. So why not letter A, B, and C? Thinking, perceiving, and feeling are, are in a cognitive and emotional. While letter B, reading, writing are learned behaviors, not primitive motor actions. Letter C, it is not also the correct answer. It's because concentrating in mental, not in motor. Item 78. On kinds of disorder or diseases which makes a person lose of memory or of recent and past events and having confusions and error in judgment. A. Alzheimer's disease. B. Schizophrenia. C. Alzheimer's disease, cerebral palsy. Or letter D. Cerebral palsy. So the correct answer is letter A. Alzheimer's disease. It's because hallmark of Alzheimer's include memory loss, confusions, and poor judgment. So why not letter B, C, and D? Schizophrenia is not the correct answer. It's because this affects perceptions and thought, not primarily memory. Alzheimer's disease's cerebral palsy is also not the correct answer. It's because it is a combining Alzheimer's with cerebral palsy is inaccurate. CP affect motor function, not letter D, which is cerebral palsy. It's because CP doesn't affect memory. Item 79. On test validity, which type of validity reflect test that correlates with acceptable and valid standard of measurement in performance? A. Predictive validity. B. Criterion validity. C. Content validity. Or D. Construct validity. So what do you think is the correct answer? The correct answer is letter B. Criterion validity. It's because this measures how well one measures predict or on an outcome based on another validated standard. Why not letter A, B, and D? Why not letter A, C, and D? Letter A is not the correct answer. It's because predictive validity, it is a subtype of criterion validity but focuses on future performance. Why not letter C, content validity? It's because it is about test content coverage. Why not letter D, which is the construct validity? It's because it measures the theoretical traits, not the outcomes. Next, item 80. On item 80. What disorder causes loss of memory of recent and past events? Confusions and error in judgment. A. Ot ano niya? Autoimmune disease. B. Cerebral palsy. C. Alzheimer's disease. Or letter D. Schizophrenia. So the correct answer is letter C. Alzheimer's disease. It's because hallmark of Alzheimer's include memory loss, confusions, and poor judgment. It is why not letter A, B, and D? Letter A, these are not primarily related. Letter B, cerebral palsy, it affects motor skill, not the cognition. And zero, schizophrenia is not the correct answer. It's because it causes delusions, hallucinations, not memory loss. Next item, item 81. What does what does differentiated teaching means? A. Teacher takes into account individual variations of learners' knowledge, readiness and interest when planning for instruction. B. Teacher teaches learners of different genders. C. Teacher recognizes different talents and allows the grade 6 pupils to enroll in the subject of their choice. Letter D. Teacher teaches different subject in a school. So the correct answer is letter A. Teacher takes into account individual variations of learners' knowledge, readiness, and interest when planning for instruction. It's because differentiated instruction is about customizing teaching to student needs. Why not letter B, C, and D? So, letter B is not the correct answer. It's because gender diversity is unrelated to differentiation. Why not letter C? It's because subject choice is about students' autonomy, not instruction. Why not letter D? It's because teaching different subject doesn't imply differentiation. Next item, 82. In preparing assessment procedures, the following steps taken but not to include A. Selection of instructional procedures. B. Placement of student. C. Determination of student readiness. D. Determination of extent objectives are met. So the correct answer is letter A. Selection of instructional procedures. It's because instructional procedures are related to teaching, not assessing. Why not letter B, letter C, and D are not the correct answer? It's because test placement testing as a form of assessment. It's not also the letter C, which is the determination of student readiness. It's because readiness evaluation is an assessment task. It's not also letter D, determination of extent objectives are met. It's because it is scored to assessment. Item 83. On periods of child development, what feature characterize the child in the prenatal stage? A. Physical growth. B. Language. C. Social attachment. Or letter D. Locomotion. So the correct answer is letter A. Physical growth. It's because biological and physical development. It is the biological and physical development. So why not B, C, and D are not the correct answer? It's because language comes much later. C, social attachment is not also the correct answer. It's because social attachment begins after birth. And locomotion, which is letter D, it starts in infancy. Next, number 84. If your students learn best through verbal lectures, discussions, talking, listening, and to what others have said, what type of learner are you? A. Kinesthetic. B. Tactile. C. Auditory. D. Visual. So what do you think is the correct answer? The correct answer is auditory. It's because it prefers listening and speaking for learners. Why not letter A, B, and D? Letter A, kinesthetic, is not the correct answer. It's because auditory learners prefer listening and speaking for learning. Letter B, tactile, is not also the correct answer. It's because learners like hand-on activities. Letter D, which is visual, is not the correct answer. It's because learners prefers reading and seeing. Next, number 85. In order to attain the 21st century skills among learners, the following are relevant approaches and prospects that schools should impose. If you arrange them based on effectiveness, which one come from the very least? A. Bring learners to the real world where life action is. B. Provide them information on direct instruction principles and perspective. C. Expose them to a great deal of researches and other inquiry-based modalities using technology. Or letter D. Guide them in searching for truth and exploring their own learning experiences. So the correct answer is letter B, providing them information on direct instruction, principles, and perspective. It's because while well structured, direct instruction is teacher centered and less effective for developing critical 21st century skills. So why not letter A, C, and D? So letter A is not the correct answer. It's because real world exposure promotes practical application. Why not letter C? It's because inquiry-based learning fosters discovery. And it is not also letter D. It's because self-directed learning builds independence. Number 86. You were assigned to substitute in a physical education class. Which of these activities is not appealing to bodily kinesthetic learners? A. Making math moves. B. Joining extramural events. C. Sketching, illustrating events. D. Doing simple calisthenic. So the correct answer is letter C. Sketching, illustrating events. It's because bodily kinesthetic learners learn through movement, not static visual task. Why not letter A, B, and D? Letter A, making math moves, is not the correct answer. It's because math moves involves movement. Why not letter B? Joining extramural events. Extramural involves physical activity. Why not letter D? Doing simple calisthenic. It's because calisthenic involves bodily movement. Next, number 87. What is the learning paradigm involved in school physical exercise drills before entering classroom? A. Observation. B. Conditioning. C. Reward. D. Punishment. So the correct answer is letter B. Conditioning. So why conditioning is the correct answer? It's because repeated drills develop automatic physical responses, a concept and behavior conditioning. Why not letter A, C, and D? Letter A, observation, is not the correct answer. It's because it is a passive. Why not letter C, which is reward? Reward is an reinforcement, not learning itself. Not also letter D, which is punishment. It's because punishment discourages behavior, not promote learning. Number 88. This is the step-by-step in teaching learners with intellectual disability with a purpose for them master the step-by-step actions in accomplishing any given activity. A. Systematic feedback. B. Task analysis. C. Teachers cueing and prompting. D. Direct instruction. The correct answer is letter B. Task analysis. It's because task analysis involves breaking down tasks into manageable steps, crucial for learners with ID. Why not letter A, C, and D? So it's not systematic feedback is not the correct answer. It's because feedback helps but doesn't structure task. Why not letter C? It's because teacher cueing and prompting, promoting support but doesn't sequence learning. Why not letter D? Direct instruction. Direct instruction is useful but broader in scope. Next, number 89. St. Martin de Porres Academy administers a standardized achievement test instead of giving a teacher-made test to the graduating grade school pupils, which could have been the reason why this was the type of test given. A. Standardized test uses multiple choices format, while teacher-made test uses the essay test format. B. Standardized test has items of average level of difficulty while teacher-made test has an easy level of difficulty. C. Standardized test is valid while teacher-made test is just reliable. Or letter D. Standardized test is used for mastery while teacher-made is used for diagnosis. So the correct answer is letter C. Standardized test is valid while teacher-made test is just reliable. Why not Why not letter A, B, and D? So, letter A is not the correct answer. It's because these generalizations are not necessarily true. Both type of tests can use various formats. This done and explain the rationale behind choosing standardized over teacher-made test. It is also not the correct. It is not also B, which is not the correct answer. It's because difficulty level varies and does not justify why a standardized test is more appropriate for graduating pupils. Letter D is not also the correct answer. It's because teacher-made tests are often used for formative and diagnostic purposes, while standardized tests are typically used for summative assessment and broader comparative purposes rather than mastery. So the correct answer is letter C. Standardized test is valid while teacher-made test is just reliable. It's because validity refers to how well a test measure what it is intended to measure, while the standardized tests are usually developed through extensive research and field testing, ensuring high validity for assessing achievement on a broad scale, while reliability refers to the consistency of test. Teacher-made tests can be reliable, consistently scoring students the same way, but they may not be as valid specifically if they are not aligned with wider educational standard. Next, item number 90. You were having a face-to-face demonstration lessons using a PowerPoint presentation. All of a sudden, there was a power interruption. What is the best thing to do? A. Get out of the classroom and look for a space where you can continue to the discussion. B. Stay in the room until the current is restored. C. Stop your discussion until the current is restored. Or letter D. Just give the remaining hour for takeaways. So the correct answer is letter A. Get out of the classroom and look for a space where you can continue to the discussion. It's because these show adaptability and commitment to ensure that learning continues despite technological difficulties. It prioritizes the learner's time and learning experiences by finding an immediate and practical solution. So why not letter B, C, and D? B is not the correct answer. It's because this leads to lost instructional time and is passive. There's no certainty when the power will return. Also, not letter C. It's because this halt the learning process and is also not an example of good contingency planning or teaching flexibility. Not also the letter D. It's because this prematurely ends the teaching sessions without maximizing the remaining time, reducing the quality of the teaching experiences. So that's all for the item that I will be reporting. So the next presenter will continue. Will continue.